Hello, sculptors. In this video, we're going to take our clay head and cut it open so we can check the thicknesses and hollow out to create a lightweight sculpture. So I'm just taking my needle tool now and marking off where I'm going to cut through. So this is my incision line here as we do some surgery. As we've sculpted the face, we've probably added on areas that have become too thick. If you're mine, an example, it might be in the cheeks, the nose, definitely the ears. These are areas where we've added on to that initial pinch pot wall and now it's too thick. So what we're going to do is create an area that we can reach in and assess the thickness and carve it out. This is much like cutting open a pumpkin, right? And digging out the seeds and the guts. So right now I'm just using my fettling knife and using it almost in a saw-like fashion. I couldn't use the neck as an access point. It's just not big enough for me to get into the face and really carve it out and assess the thickness. So I'm going to take off the back of the head. You want to choose a place that will be minimal disruption to the piece. I'm obviously not going to cut right through the face. I don't want to see this incision line later. So choose a place where you can access but not disturb your entire piece. You can see I'm working on a piece of foam. You could fill a bag with, loose papers, balled up newspapers to create kind of a little pillow for your head to rest on as you do this. Remove any of the newspaper that had been holding our form together. Now, obviously, when you want to do this, you want to carve this when it's stiff leather hard. You no longer need the newspaper. A good rule is to never have something in clay thicker than the width of your thumb. So, think of that. If it's thicker than your thumb, chances are it's too thick. It's going to be a potential area of weakness and maybe explode in the kiln. I'm just scribing a line now that shows you the desired thickness. When we made the pinch pot, we were striving for equal wall. When Mr. Lau teaches ceramics class and throws on the wheel, they also are looking for a desired thickness. Mark off that thickness. Then use any variety of loop tools to remove down to that line. Now is when we're going to start to hollow. This is a slow process. You have to go carefully and patiently. It's sort of satisfying though and relaxing. If you break through, you can always patch up if you went too deep. Use that line as your guide and carve down. We're hoping to make this lightweight, not only to save on clay, but also to make it less risky for damage in the kiln. For areas that you really can't see as you get further down inside, use your needle tool to check the thickness. Stick the needle tool through until it pokes through. Back it off. Put your finger up there at the base of where it hits the clay and then pull out to see how thick it is and then carve down to match. Remember, rule of thumb. Pushing that needle through all the way through and then carve until you find it is another good trick. So I left the needle tool in. And you can see with the little arrow where it's poking through, I just kept carving until I hit it and could find it. And then I backed it out and then carved away. Like a pumpkin. Remember to save all your removed clay shavings. We'll recycle those. We can put them in the bad dry clay in the studio here to be recycled in the pug. Or at home, you could simply put these in another bag, add some water, and then re-wedge. Now I'm going to move on to the head. Same process. You can see how thick it got in the forehead. Make your scribe line and carve. Look for those areas that you know are really thick, and don't be worried about poking holes through with the needle tool. You can simply rub them away or add fresh clay. It's better that we remove these areas. I've discovered right now that I can't even see where that hole pokes through, so I know there's a lot of weight and a lot of clay to remove in that area. Poke as many holes as you need to discover the thickness and carve. Once it's all hollowed out, it's time to reassemble. Remember, there are critical steps for attachments with clay: score, slip, and seal. Use a fork, a comb, or your needle tool to aggressively score up both surfaces that will be attached. In this case, the skull cap here and the actual head. Now it's time to add our clay slip. Add a generous amount. This will help with the last step, the sealing process. Also be sure to add slip to both sections that will be being attached to one another. Always score and slip both surfaces. Whoops. Press firmly to seal these pieces together. That extra slip will kind of squish out, and you'll be able to really snug up this seam as you work your way around. I was really careful not to carve down the lips so they matched up exactly. So as I move this around and press them together, they line up really well. So be careful in your carving not to interfere with the connection that. Now, our last step will be to add some extra clay to seal this. Seal or weld it together just simply by using your finger or a I used a little extra clay to seal this cracks. And then I also put a coil on the inside to completely seal the interior. Once you're finished, it's time to, add any remaining surface texture, either smooth or carve it to make it look faceted. And then you're going to begin to dry it out very slowly. We need to transition it from this stage to bone dry through a series of days. All right, have fun. Good luck. Take your time.